Hey y'all, here I am in the data set that we collected this semester with our social loafing variables and some other variables. And so this is gender. This is a nominal variable. So for this example, I'm just going to show you how to read the Jamovi output. And again, this is a nominal variable. So we have just categories, no meaningful numbers. The way that this works, I could have added a mode and a median and a mean. I actually unclicked them in Jamovi so that it just has this so it just has the sample size, which is 36. So this is the size of our sample. And then it also tells us that there's 0 missing. So everybody answered with their gender. Now, the numbers that are associated with this, man was 1, woman was 2, non-binary or third gender was the third category, and then prefer not to say was 4. If I had calculated a mean and a standard deviation, that would have been for these numbers, which are completely meaningless. You would never know if I said, oh, your gender number 1, you wouldn't be able to say that that's man because it's not a natural order. As I always like to say, we're not sexist. There's no natural order. We just have our genders here. So for this, it's really great to show a frequency table. So we have our frequency table here, and we have different counts. So the frequency for each of these measurements. So we had 22.22% identified as men, 75% identified as women, and 2.78% identified as prefer not to say. So this, if you add this together, this is going to be 100%. The cumulative is a little different. So I talked about this in class, but the cumulative percent would be if I add this row and this row together, then they equal that amount. So, I could look at it and say that 97.22% identified as either a man or a woman. That's where it comes in handy. It's something that you might do more with ordinal, but that's what that cumulative percent is. Now, again, I could have had it say what the mode was. And so then that would tell me that the mode was 2. But really, again, we can get that information here. So our most frequent category, our measure of central tendency, is mode. And we would use the category name. So mode equals woman. So this tells us that the most frequent gender in our data set is women. And we can see by what percent that occurs. There are no measures of variability because there's not a way to really talk about the spread of our data in terms of gender. But we can, again, use these frequencies to talk about how the data is spread across these categories. Now, for this one, I'm not going to do a separate video since this is a little bit shorter. You can also describe it using a bar graph. Now, for this one, you could rearrange this. There's not really an exact order that you're going for. So I could have like woman first and then man and then prefer not to say to show the order here. Again, it's pretty easy to see what our mode is. So this tallest category, that's going to be our mode. And we have counts here, but this is the same thing as saying frequency. So this is our frequency here. So we can see that our mode, that's supposed to say mode, our mode equals woman, our most frequent category. And this is just a way for us to graphically represent the difference across these categories as far as how many people identify for each group. Now, the bar graph, again, is different from a histogram. There's the spaces between them because these are distinct categories. I set up the survey so that you identify as one of the categories. And so then this would be a way that we can represent that information. You could also do like pie graphs or pie charts or variations of this bar graph. This is just the most common way that you're going to see this. And as you know, I'm not a big fan of pie charts, so I'm pretty happy that that's not really an option here. So that concludes the videos on interpreting descriptive statistics in Jamovi. Just let me know if you have any questions and we will get more practice in class.